in terms of development of sampling a tyre is not very easy. Can you explain that?
No, you're right.
It's actually impossible.
It's really, really difficult without doing a lot of back-to-back testing, like on the same track, in the same conditions. It's really, really tough. And I think, to be honest, it's the same for like people that are reviewing tyres as well. Like to actually get like particularly if they're just jumping in to like, okay, here's a bike or here's a tyre to review on a bike you've never ridden before, like on a track you've potentially never ridden before. It's almost impossible. So from our perspective, that's why, using athletes that we've worked with for a long period of time, that we can continue to send updated revisions to, and they can literally go from one tyre that they've been riding for a number of weeks to the next on home conditions, the stuff that they know,
like measured,
they know where you need to turn, where you need to brake, to maximize that piece of track. If you're then on a slightly different product, you can then determine whether or not it's an improvement, or if anything, it's gone the other way. So that's kind of really important to when we are developing products, real world at least. Having that feedback of someone that's done both sides.
There's interest.
That's just the real world side as well, let alone what we do kind of on the factory.
I find it with feedback. It sort of sounds like when you first hear someone say product feedback, I always think of opinion-based feedback, which is like, the side knobs, they need to be more rigid, or maybe, it doesn't roll quick, or it rolls very fast, but it doesn't slow down well. Those kind of bits of feedback are quite I would say quite specific to maybe what that person's riding, how they ride. But there's also that layer of feedback that's just like, spend as long as you can, as many runs as you can on a tyre and just feedback what happens. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like, I think it comes across as willy-nilly, like product feedback. It sounds like it's like... Because, certainly in some reviews, it feels like they're making it up. But there is...
I think you're right, though. And again, just going back to the original point, like that's kind of why it's you pick these people that you work with to provide product feedback really carefully, because some people will just tell you what you want to hear, which is the worst thing you can possibly have in product development. Some people will just go the absolute opposite, and they'll just tell you everything you don't want to hear. And then some people will just have no opinion whatsoever. So it's trying to find those people that are like analytical enough, but are prepared to kind of put the time and think about, what they're feeling and what they're finding out when they're actually on the trail riding the tyres. Which is you're right. It's really hard, because if you took like a road tyre, for example, which is kind of the other side of our business, there's loads of stuff that you can do like in the factory to kind of look at how well that product's gonna ride in the real world. Because not that every piece of tarmac is the same or conditions are the same for road, but they're a lot more linear. Like all of the variables are a lot less on a road than they are on a mountain bike track.
Yeah, much easier to like recreate, I guess, in like testing scenarios.
Did you enjoy this clip? If so, please like and subscribe. The full episode is available by hitting one of the links on the screen right now, or type the Ride Companion into your favourite podcast app. We've even put links in the show description for you. Cheers!